Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's media briefing on the extensive sustainability strategy which was put in place for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Together with my colleague Ekaterina Touton, the 2018 LOC Communications Director, it is a pleasure to introduce you today the three experts which will showcase you and underline the key pillars of this comprehensive strategy. Federico Attiecchi, FIFA's Head of Sustainability.
И я тоже с удовольствием представляю от Оргкомитета 2018 Милану Верхунову, директора по устойчивому развитию.
And Yuri Boychenko, he's the chief of the Anti-Discrimination Section at the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. We are also live on FIFA.com, and people can submit their questions, journalists particularly via our @FIFA Media Twitter account, and we will try to address them as well during the course of this press conference. The development of a sustainability strategy has become really an integral part of the organization of the FIFA World Cup. Our work on sustainability-related programs started back in 2006 for the World Cup with the environmental program Green Goal. Ever since then, we have continuously worked on expanding the program, particularly incorporating key learnings from previous competitions. The first sustainability strategy of the World Cup was launched in 2012 at the occasion of the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, Rio+20. The outcome of the 2014 sustainability strategy was published in a report which was assured by independent third-party organization, SGS, the world's leading inspection, verification, testing, and certification company. But before we actually go now into details on 28th strategy, let's quickly recap the achievements of the 2014 sustainability strategy. Please, the video.
Принципы устойчивого развития, принципы зеленого строительства имеют огромную важность для России, потому что это новая идеология строительной индустрии, и это примеры для будущих поколений, как нужно проектировать, строить и эксплуатировать на уровне требований 21 века.
CAFE's key message and goal for the FIFA World Cup in Russia will be to see local disabled fans inspired to attend matches on a regular basis, for the World Cup to be truly welcome and accessible for disabled people, and to leave behind a legacy that sees many more disabled people integrated, enjoying live football matches and other sports, but taking from that the confidence to be more integrated in their daily lives.
Нет выше ценностей, чем здоровье. Это справедливо как для каждого человека, так и для семьи, для общества, для государства. Пусть подготовка к чемпионату мира по футболу и его проведение будут катализатором позитивных перемен в отношении здоровья как для каждого из нас, так и для общества.
The power of football on our world for so many people is so huge. So let's use this global power of football to emphasize all the people on our planet for sustainability and climate protection, for a better future of our world.
As you have seen, there was testimonials of contributions to the sustainability strategy was developed in consultation and with engagements of various stakeholders. But we also have to play now the 2014 sustainability strategy video. Please. It's left. Sorry. Okay, I think maybe Federico and
The FIFA World Cup is the biggest single sport competition in the world. Staging a tournament of this scale entails constructing and renovating stadiums, transporting millions of people to the matches and fan fests while catering for their health and safety, broadcasting the matches in over 200 countries, among many other activities. To mitigate the impact on society and the environment in the host country, FIFA and the LOC implemented a tailor-made sustainability strategy. In order to make the matches accessible to all, over 300,000 tickets were sold to the disabled, blind, elderly and low-income Brazilian residents. For blind and partially sighted fans, an audio-descriptive commentary was offered to enhance their experience. Close collaboration with our signage provider ensured environmentally friendly production, distribution and recycling of signage material. In support of Brazilian efforts to build greener stadiums, FIFA and the LOC offered a 6-day training program for key staff. Together with Coca-Cola, an ambitious recycling program was implemented at all stadiums and official venues. Steps were taken to ensure the operation of the official fleet was more sustainable, and all operational emissions were compensated through low-carbon projects in Brazil. To support social development in Brazil, FIFA and the LOC supported community projects in all 12 host cities, organized a forum to discuss how football can help tackle social challenges in Brazil and beyond, and brought together 192 young leaders from 26 countries in Rio to exchange best practice and share the experience of a lifetime at the 2014 FIFA World Cup.
Federico, we've just seen the various activities which were implemented for the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Building on that experience, how have you developed the 2018 sustainability strategy, and actually what can we expect for this edition?
Good morning, everybody. Delia mentioned at the beginning of the introduction that our efforts started back in 2006. I would say that our real efforts started only in 2010, when we started for the first time developing a comprehensive sustainability strategy. Previous efforts of previous World Cups were individual and isolated initiatives in the social and environmental protection fields, but only for the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil, we developed a sustainability strategy which was comprehensive and included all aspects of sustainability and followed as well international standards. So we tried to use the same approach for the development of the 2018 World Cup sustainability strategy, and that's why we followed a number of formal steps in order to develop the strategy, which included the analysis of the bid commitments made by the Russian bid committee, FIFA requirements, previous experiences of FIFA World Cups that we had, as well as the analysis of legislation in Russia. More than 400 pieces of sustainability-related legislation was analyzed. And we followed, as we did in Brazil, ISO 2012-1 as an international standard for the management of sustainable events. And this was the basis for our work, which led us to analyze what possible issues could be relevant and tackled during the FIFA World Cup in Russia. When we come to analyzing these issues, you can imagine that any single possible issue in the field of social and economic and environmental could be linked to an event of the size of the World Cup, and that's why we had to do a so-called materiality analysis, which is analyzing which of those issues are really relevant for the host country, are really relevant for a country like Russia for a FIFA World Cup, and where do we have, as FIFA and LOC, an influence and control over those issues. So that brings us to reducing that number of issues to a manageable number. This is within the areas of social, economic, and environmental. We came to 9 main issues, which then turned into 25 strategic and performance objectives. that are going to be guiding our work over the next years. And then what we do is, once we have this document and this strategy in place, this is certainly not a decision of the FIFA and LOC sustainability teams to define this as the final work. So we present it to the international community, we present it to stakeholders, we do a formal stakeholder engagement process following as well international guidance of AA 1000. And we go about legitimizing our work, so checking with different organizations, government organizations, non-governmental organizations, civil society, UN system, even commercial affiliates, staff of FIFA and the LOC, to validate that we have not forgotten anything as part of the strategy, and to get a validation that helps us then implement it in a way that is okay for everyone. And that's the process that we did. So we have now a strategy that has been approved by the management of FIFA and the local organizing committee, and is the one that we have the pleasure of launching publicly to you, and it's going to be made available publicly as of today on our website. So a continuation of the step that started in 2014 for the World Cup in 2014, that we're very happy to continue and even improve for the World Cup in Russia.
Thank you, Federico. Milano, LOC and FIFA worked very closely to create this strategy. So can you please say a few words about how the strategy fits the local needs and local priorities?
Доброе утро, уважаемые коллеги. Я сегодня имею возможность говорить на русском языке, поэтому очень рада поприветствовать вас здесь, в Санкт-Петербурге, от имени российских организаторов. Хотела бы сказать, что проведение такого выдающегося события, как чемпионат мира, безусловно, создает возможности для развития и обновления во многих областях. С точки зрения самой стратегии в области устойчивого развития тоже был сделан достаточно большой шаг вперед. Как сказал Федерико, впервые работа по разработке стратегии была начата с очень тщательного анализа локальных законодательных норм, действующих целевых программ, приоритетов стратегического развития регионов и городов-организаторов, наряду с анализом международных практик, международных требований. Это позволило нам создать стратегию, которая локальный контекст, направлена на решение общественных задач,
to solve goals that are important for the population, for the citizens of the Russian Federation. For the first time in the framework of the sustainability strategy of the World Cup, we've considered such spheres and goals as contributing to the attractiveness of the country from the point of view of tourists, renewal of cities and their promotion on the international arena as centers that would attract tourism, green building standards for stadiums, and many other features. Here in the media center and everywhere on the premises of the Constantine Palace, you can see a working principle of waste management, which is quite new. We are pioneering this method in Russia, and we intend to use all this wealth of experience to promote new standards and to establish a new level for preparing and staging such a great event and for such national initiative. Thank you very much, Milana.
Thank you, Milana. An important step in this development of the strategy, as we saw the sound bites of a few contributors from during that process before, it was important that we engaged with representatives from NGOs, federal and local governments, UN agencies, commercial affiliates, and others in order to discuss this strategy, but also collect the input, what they consider certain issues related to hosting of the World Cup, organizing, but also identifying the opportunities such as hosting of a World Cup brings. And that brings me to Mr. Boychenko, you also took part in this consultation process. How did you experience it? And in your opinion, what role can and should an event like the FIFA World Cup bring and play in terms of inclusivity and equality?
Yeah, thank you very much. Доброе утро. I will combine English and Russian in my speeches and answers to questions. We in the Office of the High Commissioner were quite happy to participate in the consultation process for the evaluation of this sustainability strategy for the Russia's World Cup, FIFA World Cup. It was very exciting, I would say, process. I personally participated in one consultation. As an office, we presented our written contribution with recommendation on a draft strategy. Now we are happy to see that some elements were incorporated in the final version of the strategy which is launching today. It was interesting to see the exchange of opinions and experiences of about 40, 50 participants who came to Moscow last November to participate in the consultations on the draft program with a lot of different kind of experiences, how different stakeholders address the current challenges and to work to achieve the best possible results in different spheres related to the World Cup and to sustainability strategy which you see in front of you. I hope that you have the final draft. As any mega event, the World Cup has a huge potential sporting effect, but at the same time, being a sporting mega event, it's a big, huge social event, since it brings together hundreds of millions of people from around the world. It also makes an opportunity for the entire world and for the national authorities in the hosting country to make a fresh look at existing challenges in social life, and I will maybe say a couple of words about that. One of the aspects, of course, of the document and the work which local committee, FIFA, and other partners will have to do is the area of inclusivity and non-discrimination. It's a lot of things need to be done, a lot of challenges for Russia, for others, but the sustainability strategy presents a good foundation for the future work during the preparatory period, during the World Cup itself, and beyond the World Cup. If you look at the document, it is very encouraging for us, for example, that more than 10 different kind of grounds of discrimination mentioned in the strategy, in the document, which should be taken into account, and people should not be discriminated on those grounds. I think that for Russia, for example, this is the most inclusive list of grounds for discrimination. So I believe that a lot of positive things will be done and we will see positive achievements as a result of the implementation of this strategy. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, we have prepared a short video on the recent work of FIFA and its partners, particularly in the field of diversity and anti-discrimination, in particular with the recent launch of the anti-discrimination or the discrimination monitoring system, which is in place for the 2018 qualifiers. Video, please.
Wherever you are in the world, to help with discrimination.
FIFA has a zero-tolerance policy against discrimination, and we are stepping up the fight against this evil in our game.
It's taken quite a long time to get to the point where people accept that discrimination in football is something that is a responsibility of football.
Ça m'étonne encore plus avec tout ce qui se passe autour, avec tout ce que la FIFA essaie de faire, et souvent en essayant de mettre des amendes au club, essayer de fermer des stades, fermer des parties du stade. Et voir que ça continue encore, c'est ce qui est vraiment choquant.
The key role that we have to play is to ensure that people are educated, situations of discrimination are prevented where possible, and that actually sanctions do happen when behaviour does involve discrimination.
Il faut éradiquer ça, c'est-à-dire aller au-delà maintenant, c'est-à-dire avoir des réponses beaucoup plus fermes.
FIFA has a reach that nobody can match. And for us, we bring our expertise, our members, and a perspective on things which we think will be beneficial to football. The Observer Scheme will be a global program that touches every place where there are international matches for the FIFA 2018 World Cup.
We believe that this anti-discrimination monitoring system can deliver the necessary evidence and tools for our disciplinary committee to be able to act.
Avec le système de monitor, on a quand même peu détecté certaines personnes qui ont pu dire comme ça racistes dans un stade. Et ça, c'est un pas vers l'avant.
This initiative and other initiatives that have been undertaken by FIFA are showing that we are doing more and we have to do more.
Working together with FIFA will have a real positive impact on addressing the issues that we face.
I'm confident that together, with a robust strategy and determination, we can kick out discrimination from this wonderful game.
It may be a painful road ahead, but I'm sure that this is going to be a successful one.
Mr. Bolshenko, you are part of this FIFA Task Force for Anti-Discrimination and Racism, which consulted and advised FIFA on its strategy for diversity and promote diversity and anti-discrimination. What are for you the key elements in order to address this issue in football and in sports in general?
Спасибо за этот вопрос.
Thank you very much for this question. Yes, this is task force which was established in 2013, and the anti-discrimination section of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights is a part of this target group, and one of the recommendations of the groups was the development of the strategic approach to solve the issues and to address challenges in the field of inclusivity and in the anti-discrimination area. We offered three basic pillars. It's education, preventive measures, and sanctions. To develop those three pillars or principles, we adopted 5 key elements. I would not say that one of them is more important than another. As a complex, they have to give this positive effect which we expect from the implementation of this strategy. If we speak about education, you see these 5 pillars or key elements. If we speak about the education, the task consists in the education of different stakeholders or participants of this process, beginning with the officials, with FIFA staff. It is also about the work with the national associations and other participants of this process. We also envisage much work in the area of education of fans or of those who from time to time attend matches. It is necessary to work at schools to educate a so-called positive fan. Many issues linked with racism and discrimination are connected with the behavior of the supporters, or some of them. A very important 5 key element of this strategy, which allowed FIFA to, let's say, go out of its sphere of competence and to work with other stakeholders who could contribute to address this challenge. Those are NGOs and other participants of the civil society. We work more and more with FIFA together to prevent discrimination. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much, Milana. Inclusivity and addressing the discrimination, those are key issues in connection with the FIFA World Cup 2018, how it will be implemented in practice and what measures will be undertaken in view of the upcoming World Cup. The free of the discrimination environment is very important for the organizers. As we already mentioned, today we launched a new monitoring system of all the discrimination phenomena, and we will monitor all the matches and qualifying matches, and this will have a huge impact to reveal discrimination issues and adequately react to those problems. We will implement a number of educational programs, to work together with supporters and fans and with non-commercial structures. Besides, I would like to draw your attention that in the social area, our strategy foresees a number of other important issues and targets, and we will put all our efforts to create a safe environment at the matches of the World Cup. We will work on the inclusivity of the groups of different disabled persons and persons with less mobility. All the matches are tobacco-free, and we will put much attention to the promotion of the healthier way of life, to contribute to the promotion of sport and football, especially as far as kids and adults also are concerned, and we will put much attention to it from the part of the volunteers and organizers and other officials and operational staff who will help locally in organizing the matches. Thank you very much, Milana.
One of the flagship programs of FIFA Social Work is Football for Hope. Federico, what kind of activities will we see in Russia in 2018?
Indeed, when it comes to the implementation of the sustainability strategy for a World Cup, we try as much as possible to integrate existing programs, do not create, reinvent the wheel. There are some programs that are corporate at FIFA that have been ongoing for many years, and the one that you mentioned, Football for Hope, is certainly one of them, where we try to utilize the power of the game of football to tackle social issues. And when it comes to integrating into the sustainability strategy of a World Cup, we utilize it, and we will utilize it as well in Russia to identify, first of all, organizations that are working in the country using football to tackle some local issues, and we will support such initiatives in the upcoming 3 years. But also we will host, as it was the case in the previous World Cups in South Africa and Brazil, a forum, a Football for Hope forum during the Confederations Cup in 2017, where experts in the field of development through football gather in the host country to discuss how our game can contribute to social development. And of course, during the FIFA World Cup, again, as an official event of the FIFA World Cup, the Football for Hope Festival will take place. This is the social World Cup, which involves participants from all around the world, young people, leaders in their communities, participating in their own very special World Cup during the final tournament in Russia.
Thank you, Federico. Милана, а расскажите, пожалуйста, еще какое влияние
Please, which impact has this strategy? What kind of support will have the
strategy for the local communities, for the regional communities. Such a large-scale international event as the FIFA World Cup brings opportunities for the economic prosperity. It means the increasing of the business activity, creating new working places, maintenance of existing working places, as the practice of such international events proves. The World Cup maintains the economic and political stability of the country. We expect changes in the transportation system, in the accommodation, in the health sector. And we think that all these efforts will deal as basis for the prosperity, further prosperity of the regions in Russia in long-term perspective. Thank you very much, Milana.
The first item what often comes to our mind is environmental protection. What kind of measurements are in place within this 2018 sustainability strategy, in particular for the World Cup stadiums?
Delia, if you allow me, I will take the opportunity to correct this first impression that everyone has when it comes to sustainability. Sustainability is not just about the environment, but it's about finding a balance between social, economic, and environmental aspects. And therefore, if you see, and I'm glad to show you the one of the few versions of the strategy that have been printed. Of course, the strategy will not be printed, but available online. The word sustainability involves actually all these three aspects. When it comes to our involvement with regards to environmental protection, I think one of the first milestones that we achieved in Russia was the obligation that we put on the local organizers of having all stadiums certified from an environmental perspective. So the stadiums, there needs to be a green building certification as a mandatory requirement for the organizers of the World Cup starting here in Russia. And this is something that we have achieved, and has even led to the development in this country of a national green building certification standard for stadiums. We will not stop there with the creation of green building stadiums, but also we'll continue supporting the stadium operators in the management of these facilities in a sustainable manner. So there will be training and seminars provided to the organizers and authorities and operators of the stadiums in the years to come. We will, as it was mentioned before for Brazil, we will as well work on a very extensive waste management and recycling program in connection with our competitions, the Confederations Cup and the FIFA World Cup, but also has started already, as Milana was saying, here at the preliminary draw and other ancillary events of the World Cup. And we will as well work on managing our carbon emissions. So there will be strong effort put into analyzing our carbon footprint, making sure that we take measures in order to reduce that carbon footprint of the World Cup as much as possible, and whatever is left in terms of emissions, that we have a comprehensive and based on international standards system in order to compensate, to offset those emissions as we have done in the past in Brazil.
Thank you, Federico. We come now to the Q&A session. I would like to really draw your attention and focus on the topics of today, the launch of the sustainability strategy and the areas of the experts present today. We will refer you all other questions either to tomorrow's press conference following the organizing committee of the FIFA World Cup, also live on FIFA.com here tomorrow at approximately 12 o'clock, or we can also address your questions later on directly. So starting with Mike Collett in the first row.
Thank you. Good morning. Mike Collett from Reuters in London. A question to Mr. Boychenko. As we all know, this weekend there was an incident in the first match of the new Russian season regarding the player Frimpong. Since then, the Minister of Sport, Mr. Mutko, has come out and said that it was all a storm in a teacup, this racist incident. The Russian FA have taken no action against Spartak Moscow fans, and the chairman of UEFA, the UEFA club, who Frimpong plays for, said that the player was wrong and he shouldn't have given the fans the finger. Then we have great words from FIFA about sustainability, anti-racism, how you're educating fans, yet nothing seems to change in Russia regarding the racism of the fans. How are you going to ensure that at the World Cup there will be no racism that will ruin matches and that could lead to African teams walking off the pitch? There seems to be a huge denial in Russia about racism. I've been to all 11 venue cities in the last 2 weeks on a FIFA media tour. We've seen people all over the country deny racism exists. I think you have a huge problem to address. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is an important topic and not an easy topic. It's not easy to address racism and discrimination. It's not easy to overcome this problem overnight or over a year or 2 years. As serious researchers figured out, it's a behavioral problem and it's a societal problem. Indeed, in Russia, we also noticed that there is no clear understanding what racism means. It's not black and white or white and black only. Racism and racial discrimination, it's about the issue of ethnicities, it's about the issues of religious affiliation, about culture, language, and so on and so forth. In a way, you are right, that first comes recognition, that the authorities here should recognize that there is a problem. And I believe that the recognition is coming. We had a joint meeting with the Russian Football Association and also with the support of FIFA, a meeting on the 4th of June, where the Minister of Sport also participated. We had a very frank, open dialogue. We hope it will help to increase this recognition by the authorities. And of course, the authorities and the top officials in sport, and not only sport, they bear main responsibility for their statements and how they react on the incidents on the pitch, around the pitch, or incidents in the society. So therefore, their reaction is important. And I would expect that they would deny not the existence of racism, that they deny acceptance of such ugly events. And any incident should be very thoroughly investigated. I can imagine that someone maybe shouldn't heard or shouldn't have seen what happened around the pitch. But at the same time, there is a need probably to put in place the system of observers, and what it actually has been done by FIFA by establishing this new monitoring system. And I heard that Russia's football union also appointed a commissioner who should play this kind of role. And if this kind of incidents continues happening, then the system, national system, should be reinforced. There should be more efforts by the Ministry of Sport and by the union in this sphere. This is absolutely clear. Thank you.
Perhaps I can, Mike, I can comment on that as well, because you're asking the UN how are they going to make sure. I think this is a responsibility of FIFA and the LOC. It's not a responsibility of the UN. It is up to us as the organizers of this event to make sure that this event is welcoming everyone, is a safe place for everyone, not just for the players and the participants, but also for the fans, and that we make sure that already starting from the qualification phase, as it was announced, I think you were there in London when we launched this monitoring system, it's already starting there. So we need to make sure that we have measures in place, and these are part of a strategy. I would not disconnect the two. It's not that the strategy is good and the rest is bad. This is part of a sustainability strategy. And therefore, there are measures as part of the action plan that include monitoring racism and discrimination in the qualifiers and during the Confederations Cup and the FIFA World Cup. That's one thing. Then there's the other responsibility that we have as the mother organization of our member associations to work and support the Russian Football Union in their fight against discrimination. There are as well, on our own and independent from the World Cup work, measures to support the Russian Football Union in this fight.
Over there, gentleman in the white shirt, behind.
Сергей Циммерман, Спортэкспресс. Вы несколько раз
Express, Sergei Zimmerman, you said many times monitoring. Could you precise what should the violators expect? What sanctions will be imposed? If there is a deviation in the behavior in terms of racism and discrimination, what should they expect then? How they will be sanctioned?
It is important to say that the monitoring system is not changing the disciplinary code that FIFA has in place and has been having for a while now. So the sanctions have been there and they are strong enough to be applied. The problem that we have identified is in many cases in matches that are under our jurisdiction, the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup or even the FIFA World Cup itself, the evidence is lacking. So we have perhaps cases of racism and discrimination that happen, that some people see, but when it comes to the disciplinary committee opening a case and analyzing evidence, this evidence is not enough or is not good enough in order to apply a sanction. So we had the two, in some cases, the discrimination incidents. We have a very strong sanctioning possible, but we lack this evidence gathering, and that's what the monitoring system is aiming to do. So we are going to analyze all matches of the qualifiers. We're going to send to those high-risk matches expert match observers who are going to attend and collect, in case of incidents, such evidence that then can flow into the disciplinary committee for them to take the necessary actions and apply, if necessary, the necessary sanctions.
Ryan Swanson over there, in the middle.
Good morning, Brian Swanson from Sky Sports News HQ in London. Just to Yuri, just to pick up on your first point, that you made there, can you outline exactly how big the problem is of racism in Russia, just to be clear on how you feel, how strongly you feel about this? And to Federico, in the case of Emmanuel Frimpong, the player clearly feels aggrieved. He has been banned. There is a dispute. Do you think FIFA should intervene in this and be seen to be at least doing something to try and moderate what is a very sensitive issue?
Да, спасибо за вопрос. Ну, я не могу привести точных каких-то цифр.
I cannot give you precise data as to the problem at hand in Russia. I can tell you that in Russia we have quite all-encompassing legislation which is there to eradicate the problem of racism and discrimination. And to develop the previous answer by Federico, I can tell you that we have a very strong position on this. There should be no difference whatsoever between sanctions applied to persons responsible for racist acts during a match and such acts outside of the pitch, outside of a stadium. In many countries, if
we see some sort of differences in how the racist incidents addressed when they happen inside a stadium and outside the stadium. It's an easier sort of regime. I'm not speaking about the FIFA jurisdiction here. I'm speaking about national matches as all over the world. Sort of easier attitude of authorities to the incidents of racism around in the stadiums. When it happens in the society, sanctions are stronger. And we always appeal that same should be when it happens during football game or any other sport event. As you know, there was a report published by FARE network, prepared by one of the Russian organizations, monitoring center SAVA, which speaks about 200 incidents which happened during 2 football seasons. They're different kind of incidents. I would not qualify them all as racist incidents. Many of them are incidents of radical nationalism or even neo-Nazi incidents. What is important, the reaction. The reaction of the authorities should be stronger, clearly. Thank you.
Federico?
Brian, you know very well that there's a matter of jurisdiction here. So there are some cases where FIFA can intervene directly. Those are the matches under our own jurisdiction. There are others that are under the jurisdiction of our member associations. With this, I do not want to say that FIFA has not an interest in addressing these matters. In fact, immediately after we heard about the case, our disciplinary committee and our disciplinary department wrote an official letter to the Russian Football Union because we consider that there was a need for us to obtain information about the case. We have provided the Russian Football Union disciplinary committee the possibility of providing not just information about the case, but also the justification or the justified decision of whatever case is happening, in this case, the Frimpong case, until the 28th of July. We will receive this information. We have not received it until today, but definitely there is time until the 28th for FIFA to receive this information. We are definitely following this case, and as we are following cases, prominent cases in other parts of the world, it must be said that this is not, it has been stressed by many, this is not just a problem in Russia. We are following, of course, prominent cases of discrimination in different national associations. Of course, with the World Cup happening in this country, there's a lot of focus on Russia, and therefore we are as well following with a lot of interest in what is going on, and are following this case in particular.
Okay, Rob Harris on the side.
Hi, Rob Harris, Associated Press. First one is just I think really a yes/no answer from you, Federico. You've watched clearly the Frimpong video. You would say he was racially abused?
I don't think it matters what I think, because I'm not involved in the disciplinary decisions. There is a first analysis of this information, which is done by the disciplinary committee of RFU. I cannot say, as I said, because we have not received the official report from the Russian Football Union, if that video or whatever other evidence was used to make the decision. We will have to wait until the 28th to see if this information comes. If that information and that evidence that we can see clearly on the internet has been taken into consideration, and how, to be able to comment. My personal opinion about it is, in this place, irrelevant.
We've been talking a lot about racism in Russia since the day of the vote. Vladimir Putin spoke about the problem, accepted and saw as a problem back in 2010 in Zurich. Sepp Blatter told me in February he was concerned about the FAIR report. There's a lot of talk about educating Russia, but we're now 3 years away and we're seeing a stream of incidents. Is it now just a question of not combating racism? Do you think it's too late for that, but preparing players and fans at the World Cup for the worst, and just how you respond and deal when there is a case, or if there is a case? Is it too late now to try and eradicate the problem in time for the World Cup?
I think it would be naive and, first of all, too arrogant for us to come here to say that we're going to first educate Russia. We're in no position to do that. We don't need to do that. We have no moral stature to do that either. I think it is our role to prevent that as much as possible, that racism incidents happen in connection with the events that are under our responsibility. as I said, the qualifiers, the Confederations Cup and the FIFA World Cup, if for whatever reason there are incidents, that we have the necessary tools to collect the evidence to be able to act. And once we have that evidence, to act firmly, because there is a zero tolerance against discrimination that FIFA has. It is written in our statutes, it is written in our disciplinary code, it is written in our code of conduct. So there is no place for discrimination of whatever kind in football. Now, are we going through the World Cup to have a positive influence? Perhaps yes. Is this influence going to change racism situations in Russia and in the rest of the world? That would be naive to think that that's going to be the case. That is not our expectations. That is certainly cannot be your expectation either. But we have a responsibility, and we will work through measures that I have presented before in order to try to avoid as much as possible that from happening. And the same applies to our work with the Russian Football Union. As I said to Brian before, we don't have a direct responsibility of what's going on in the Russian league every weekend. Same as we don't have any responsibility, direct responsibility of what's going on in the English Premier League every weekend. But if the Russian Football Union or the FA are in need for our support, and I think they are, then we can provide certain support. Some of the measures that we have stated, and here we're not talking about the FIFA World Cup, but just our responsibility as FIFA, is that of creating a good practice guide on the fight against discrimination. These good practice guides will be launched in a couple of days, and will be supporting our member associations in dealing with such cases. And it involves all 5 elements that you represented. It's about prevention, education, it's about dealing with sanctions, it's about networking and communication as well. So how do we make sure that we provide the member associations with the necessary tools to tackle the problem? Now, are these tools going to help eradicate racism? No, probably not. It would be naive to think so, but it will bring us forward in this fight. And as Piera Power from FAIR was saying in the video, the fight is going to be a painful one, but in the end, we're going to be better off, and this is what we're aiming for.
Okay, one last question, Mike, on there.
Thanks. Federico, can I just confirm something with you? You've given the Russian FU to the 28th of July to explain why they took the decision not to take any sanctions in this case. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I said. What I said, we informed and requested from the Russian Football Union before their decision was made. So we, immediately after we knew about the case, we contacted formally the Football Association. That was at the beginning of this week. So on the 21st, and we'd given them 7 days to provide information about the case because we thought it was a prominent case. It included certain aspects of possible allegations of discrimination, and because it was happening in the country of which is hosting the World Cup.
And will you take any further action when they come back to you and give you the information that you're looking for? Can you take any further action?
I don't know what the actions could be. This is a decision that this information is going to our disciplinary team. However, it must be said that FIFA is not an appeal body, so the appealing opportunities for the player to appeal the decision of the disciplinary committee of the Russian Football Union are the appeal committee of the Russian Football Union, and furthermore, in case of need, the Court of Arbitration of Sports. FIFA has no such a formal role in it. We have a role in understanding the situation and supporting the federation to deal better with the cases.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here today and discuss this important matter. You find all the supporting material, as we said, including the sustainability strategy for the 2018 FIFA World Cup, the report on the Sustainability Strategy 2014, and other documents on FIFA.com as well as on the FIFA media channel. And tomorrow we'll see each other again at 12 o'clock for the press conference following the organizing committee meeting, where the match schedules for the FIFA Confederations Cup 2017 and the 2018 FIFA World Cup will be presented, also live on FIFA.com. But that will not be all, Katya.
Да, мы также завтра представим презентацию
introduce you to the presentation. the philatalistic program, this is also an interesting event.
At 2 o'clock tomorrow, so that should be also quite useful for yourself. Our guest speaker, Federico and Milana, are also available for some one-on-one interviews if you just contact us following the press conference, and we wish you a nice day. Thank you. Spasiba.